Hello, good
Hello.
afternoon, Bengaluru. So here today we are here with Phil Britten today with another webinar. And for those of you who have joined us for the first time or listening to our speakers for the first time, here's a brief introduction of why we are having this, or what's the who are they and why are they talking on these webinars over this week. So see, these are international speakers who are coming to Bengaluru for the first time, and they'll be here from 8th of February, and many of you will be meeting them on different stages, of course. And we have an event on 17th, 18th and 19th in Bengaluru at White Orchid, and that's the reason why we thought all the speakers have to know about their viewers, or have to and the viewers have to also know about the speakers on the other hand. So that's the reason why we have scheduled all the webinars over this week. And those of you who are attending all the webinars, welcome back again, and I'm sure you are taking a lot of value and able to interact with speakers by asking them questions well before the event. So I would like to take this opportunity to invite Phil Britten here, who has joined us for this event, for this webinar, and he's going to be live from Australia for us. And Phil, let me give a brief introduction about Phil. And Phil is an international speaker, author, entrepreneur, and founder of Business Growth Mastery. Phil, has been, his first business was, $25 million, and he's also been awarded as the best speaker of the year in Australia. So, am I right? So, is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, okay. So I would like to, welcome Phil, and he'll be taking this forward. So guys, take notes, and if you have any questions, feel free to post them, and I will ask questions at the end of the webinar. Okay. Over to you, Phil.
Great. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. And look, I'm really looking forward to sharing a little bit about myself, a bit about my story, but also some great strategies, not just the what, but I want to give you some how as well. But before I get started, let me just ask you a couple of questions. And obviously, this is a webinar, so I can't see you and I can't get too much feedback. So I want you to internally ask the questions to yourself and think, the answer, is it relevant to me or is it not? So, just ask yourself right now, are you interested in growing a business that gives you the time and the money that you want, so you can do whatever you want with whoever you want, whenever you would like to? If that's appealing to you, then this webinar's for you, and definitely the Super Achievers Conference is going to be amazing for you as well, with the amazing speakers as well. If you're starting up a business and you're not too sure how to start up, there's so many options out there. Sometimes it can get confusing. This webinar is for you. I'm going to give you some ideas on how you can do that as well. But also, if you already have a business and maybe you've hit that glass ceiling, you don't know how to break through. Maybe you've hit some barriers or roadblocks, and you just want to know some great sort of tips, tools, and strategies on how you can overcome those challenges. Well, this webinar is for you as well. But I don't know where you are at right now, and we're all at different positions in our life. But maybe you're in a place where you're struggling for ideas, you're struggling for strategies, and you're finding it hard to, I guess, find that recipe for success, because there's so many strategies out there. What do you choose? Maybe you're in a position where maybe you've got a great idea and you've got a great business, but maybe you just don't have the leads or the clients coming in or the conversion going for you that you need to happen to be able to grow your business and get to that next level. Maybe by having not the time and the money and the strategies and the resources to grow your business, therefore it leaves you in a place of pain and frustration, because not only do you suffer and your business suffer, but unfortunately your family suffers as well. If that's where you are right now, and maybe you want to be in a place where you've got the money and you've got the time and you've got the freedom to do what you want with your family, you've got the freedom to go on those holidays, you've got the freedom to put in staff and leverage your business and grow it to the next level by learning strategies and learning skills and I guess techniques that are from people who have gone before you, helps you fast forward your success results. And that's really what I'm here to share with you today. If you want to go from where you are, whatever position that may be in, to where you want to be, something has to change. something has to change. And most often than not, it's you. It's you, the person. There are only so many strategies in the world. There are only so many ways you can market and do sales and do all these things. Most of the time, what blocks a business is the person themselves. So what I'm passionate about to help people go from where they are to where they want to be, and what I'm talking about today is innovation. Like, how do you innovate your current niche? How do you innovate your current business? How do you innovate yourself as a person so you can break free? You see, I think Henry Ford once said, if you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always got. And that's really a really key moment of clarity for me, was that, if I kept doing what I was doing, I was only ever going to get those results. If I wanted to break free and have more money, more time, more freedom, then something needs to change, and something needs to change within me, within my business, within my peers, within the people around me. And, at the end of the day, what do you work on first? What's the first thing that you do? I think, on average, some of the statistics that we hear, and it's quite common, that, businesses fail. How many businesses fail in the first year? Only a handful will succeed and break through. And when it comes to building a business and building a brand, not only the ones that fail in the first year, but what about in the first 5 years? And what about the first 10 years? I've been lucky enough to have built in my first 10 years of business. I've just launched my 7th business this year as well. So 6 businesses in the past and 7th business right now. And you know what? Business is business. It doesn't matter really what I've done in the past. The strategy is still the same. But the key factor in growing your business is who you are and who you surround yourself with. Let me just repeat that, because it is so important that the key to growing your business is who you are and who you surround yourself with. Because at the end of the day, you may not be the strongest at growing your business. You may not be the #1 guy or girl. You may be number 2 or number 3. So you need to surround yourself with people who are maybe #1s and number 2s. And so who you are is important, because you will bring something to the table. But what's just as important, equally as important, is who you surround yourself with. And that, my friends, is exactly why people like Ram bring international speakers like me and all the other speakers to India, to be able to raise the standard of the power of association. And Jim Rohn says you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Well, guess what? I would credit a lot of my success with the people that I've hung around with, because of what I've learned by being around those people has been second to none. Then what happens? It's come to me. Now I can take the information and I can just store it to myself and not do anything with it, or I can implement as well. So at the end of the day, that's why I say the success of a business really ultimately is determined by you yourself and the people you surround yourself with. But a little bit more about me and how did I get to this point? Like, how did I get to the point where I'm invited to fly to India to speak to thousands of people about my expertise in both life and in business? So let me just take you back to a moment in life where I had a really tough decision to make. And maybe you can recall a time where you had a really tough decision to make. Because if you joined me on October 12th, 2002, you would have seen me in a nightclub in Indonesia, Bali. And I'm in Indonesia, Bali, and I'm on an end-of-season Australian rules football trip. If I could probably give you a comparison, it's like a end of cricket season. They go off and have a party and celebrate the successful season. So we're in Indonesia, Bali, and about to have the time of our lives. And within 6 hours of landing in Indonesia, I went from having the time of my life to fighting for my life. You see, you join me in a nightclub and it's hot, it's crowded, and the music's loud. And as I'm contemplating this tough decision that I had to make, on one hand, I have this opportunity to play professional Australian rules football. But on the other hand, I really didn't want to leave my friends who I'd grown so close to. I really didn't know what to do. A good friend of mine, Laurie Kerr, was standing right next to me. And he leans in and you can see this frustration on my face. Phil, what's up, mate? You look like you got the weight of the world on your shoulders. Laurie, I don't know, mate. I've just got this real big problem. I've got this one hand. I've got this opportunity of a lifetime, a childhood dream, something that I've wished for all my life. But now it's here. I'm sort of torn between going left and right. losing my friends or pursuing this dream. I had that feeling before where you were sort of split in two. You could have gone left or you could have gone right. He said something to me that stays with me right to this day. He leans in and he says, Phil, it's easy, buddy. Always take your opportunities. But more importantly, you see, it became really clear to me right there and then that, no matter what was going on in my mind, as long as I stayed true to my heart, as long as I followed my instincts, I guess, and my gut feeling, then all will be okay. Laurie, thank you so much. Wait there, buddy. I will be straight back. So I walk off in my own sort of thoughts of possibilities. I'm 22 years of age, and I'm walking across the dance floor, and I hear this sound, and I'm like, no, it can't be. And as I turn back and look over my shoulder, bang! I'm literally blown off the dance floor. I've been picked up and I'm thrown like a tumble washer. I don't know if you've ever felt completely helpless or out of control before, but just imagine being caught in a tumble washer and you just can't get out. And then I hit crutch. I'm wedged between this roof. All the roofing had fallen down in this back bar. And I had roofing all over me, but I also had bodies. I don't know if you've ever had that feeling of someone falling asleep on you before, but that's what I had. It was like I times it by 100, and that was the feeling. I go through the bodies that are all over me and the roofing, and I get to my feet, and I realize that, oh, my face, it's so painful. And I look at my hands, and all this blood is pulling through and covering my hands, and I don't know what to do. And in that moment of clarity, my hearing starts coming back. I hear this sound from the corner. I said, stay calm, it's just a gas bottle. But something told me that was more than that. You see, I could smell in the air, and every breath that I took, I could feel it burning my throat. And every deeper breath that I took hurt and burnt, and the smoke started coming in, and I realized, and I thought to myself, this is no gas bottle. I think this is a bomb. And as I'm trying to collect my thoughts and trying to figure out how to get out, walls of fire start creeping in. The thatched roof is falling down. Alcohol bottles are popping. And all in that moment of, that chaotic moment of men and women screaming, I figure I just got to get out of here. So I stumble my way, stepping across bottles and bodies, unfortunately, and I get to this big wall. This wall is in front of me. And I get to this wall, and it looks impossible. It's so large, it's so big, I could never get out. But as I look behind me, the flames are starting to come in, and I've just got to jump. So I jump as high as I can. I get my fingertips just on the wall. And as I go to pull myself up, I tumble and I stumble and I fall into the fire. I peel myself up off the floor and I look at this wall that I failed in. I don't know if you've ever attempted something and failed before and given up. But I look at this wall and I look behind me, and the fire starts creeping in even further and starts to touch my back. And as I jump my second time and I'm nearly over, I feel hands grab my shoulders and hands grab my hair. And I'm being pulled down by all these other people. I slip, we all slip, and we fall tumbling into the fire pit of hell. Now, I could share this story with you all night, and I will later on, but in life, there's certain times where you get major clarity. And in that moment of failing, of climbing this wall, and I was in a terrorist attack, and I was curled up in this fetal position, literally about to die, something happened to me. And my mind went to regret. At the age of 22, my mind went to regret, like, if I don't survive this, if I don't get out, I'll never get to meet the woman of my dreams, and get married and have children and teach them to play cricket and kick the football. All the things that I've ever expected to have are slowly being ripped away from me. And in that moment of emotional drainness, I had nothing left. This determination came over my body. And I realized, and I stood up like a soldier, and I said, I'm getting out now. Now, I don't remember exactly how I got out. I don't remember. Because here's the lesson. When your why is so big, the how is irrelevant. When I tried to escape that wall twice, I was trying to escape my life, and that's a pretty big why, but it wasn't enough. I didn't have enough energy. I didn't have enough determination to get over that wall. But when I was lying on my death's bed, over to the regret of not having a certain thing in my life or some people in my life, I had enough energy and enough emotional drive and determination to scale a wall without me even knowing. I'd like to just share the screen with you now as I pull up my keynote. Now, when I scaled the wall, I remember getting to the top of the wall and climbing over the neighboring building, where I got to the top of the building. And I felt it for the very, very, very first time. I don't know if you've ever been sunburnt before, been out in the sun too long, but if you could imagine your whole body sunburnt, and then somebody comes up and slaps you in your back. My back's arched, I don't know what's going on. All I know is that this pain is excruciating. So I ripped my shirt off, and half the skin off my back came with it. And later, I realized that somebody took this photo of me. And if I think back now, if I never did survive, that would be the last photo that my mother would have ever seen of me. As I sit there on this neighboring roof, legs dangled over, the blood-covered zombie asking for help, I had no idea. Now, again, I could speak to you all night about my night and the months of recovery, but I really want to share with you how I went from being in that terrorist attack where I was burnt to 60% of my body. I lost my front teeth, they got smashed in, and I lost 7 of my closest friends within an instant. Blood transfusions, my wife says, I don't think you've got any of your own blood left in you anymore. But the early stages of my recovery, that I realized that life is too precious, and it's also too fragile, and it's also too short. I mean, we have a long life, but you never know what's going to be around the corner. I remember watching September 11 happen in America and thinking, what, I'm so glad I live where I live, and nothing would ever like that would ever happen to me. And there I am, 1 year, 1 month, 1 week, 1 day, fighting my own war against terror. Now, from that moment, I realized that, what, if I'm going to continue on my life and have an opportunity to live the life that I nearly lost, I want to do something that I really, really love. Like, if I'm going to do something with my life, I want to be really passionate about it, to share the lessons that I've learned in my life about how I was able to overcome such a tragedy. So I went about speaking and sharing my story about how I overcame the terrorist attack, the Bali bombing terrorist attack in 2002. And as I was doing my very, very first presentation, I remember it took about an hour for me to tell my story for the first time. And at the end of it, all I had left was the raw emotion and running down my cheeks with tears, and I didn't know what was going on. And at that point there, I realized that, that's something that I wanted to do. So I went on this journey of speaking, and you'll see a picture of me speaking on my website. I then also went on to start a martial arts business, and my martial arts business was something that I loved. I loved martial arts. It was part of me growing up, and it was such a big part of my life. So I started my first martial arts business, and that's now turned into 3 martial arts businesses. It's quite a big organization. I have 50 staff that run that organization. I do not work in that business anymore. I work on the business, and 2,000 members, students within the community, and help them with their life as well. Starting that martial arts business turned into a consulting business as well. Like, I started to learn to help other martial arts business owners with the same success that I had as well. I also started a government business helping the Army and Defence Force and airlines on how to be safe in the air in the situations that they're in as well. And then I also have started Business Growth Mastery, which we've just been talking about. And through my lessons of life was that, you know, if you get a chance to live your dreams and do something you care about and something you're passionate about, you've got to take it by both hands. And as my life has gone on, I've been able to speak all over the world at various stages. It's been amazing. I've written a few books on my story and my journey. I've won many awards, Most Inspiring Man and the 40 Under 40 Entrepreneur of the Year, NIFNEX. I've also had the pleasure of being Australian Speaker of the Year 2 years in a row. I've shared the stage with some amazing people, Andy Harrington, which is UK's top public speaker trainer, Nick Vujicic, the man with no limbs, Gary Vaynerchuk, and something I'm very excited to announce is after the Super Achievers to be speaking alongside Arnold Schwarzenegger here in Australia as well. So I'm really amazed that the journey from the little boy who nearly lost his life to someone who then just chose to be, I guess, attack their passion and be purposely driven that every single day could be your last, and that you need to make every day count. And in that time, I was able to obviously find my why. So I think what's most important to me and all the accolades that I've had of starting businesses and the awards and speaking on stage is second to this award right here, which is my beautiful wife and 3 amazing children that I get to spend time with. And that is my why. That is what got me out of the terrorist attack and over that wall. And that is what drives me every single day to be successful, not just for me and not just for the community, but for my children and for my wife as well. So thank you very much for listening to that story. And I guess is that what I now teach and what I practice and preach to my students who come through to my events and who share the stage and share the events and share online courses with me is that I created a model that's helped me with my success. I created a model that I could then put all the lessons that I learned in starting all the businesses that I started, and then I could then share that with the community as well. So this model here is all about building a business and growing a business. And I will be sharing this with you at the conference as well. So I won't get a chance to share all of this with you and go deep, because I remember I do want to share not just the what, but also some of the how. And this particular webinar is all about how to get more leads. But I think it's important that just to get more leads, you actually got to backtrack and you got to figure out a bit of extra information as well. So the first thing that I feel is very, very important when building a business, whether you're a startup or whether you're an existing business, is so important, because whenever you're met with new challenges, whenever you're met with new obstacles, it's the only thing that you have to help you overcome them. And what I'm talking about is a mindset. You really need a strong mindset, almost a champion's mindset if you want to be a business owner. If you want to be an entrepreneur, a business owner, or someone who is, I guess, taking life by the horns and around passion and purpose, you really need a strong mindset. Because something that I've learned that, you know, with every new level of success and new level of results that I've had to have a new level of, wit about me and mindset about myself to overcome the new challenges. And so I think it's really important, if you are going to be an entrepreneur or a business owner or someone who's going to be successful, is that you do have that strong mindset to overcome the challenge, the inevitable challenges that you're going to have personally and professionally as well. Strong mindset, then, obviously, you're building your business. There's definitely, and what we're going to be talking about today is you definitely need some marketing. You need to be able to market in today's environment, and today's environment has changed. The way people should be marketing today is very, very different than the way you should be marketing years ago. And I'm going to be sharing with you some of those strategies that I teach my students that work with me. The third part of building a business, remember there's two elements in here. There's the building of it, and then there's the growing of it. So in the building of it, yes, you have to have a strong mindset, and yes, you need to be able to market to the masses and get the leads, but you need to have a great sales process, a process that converts high and turns that high volume leads into high volume clients who buy your product or service. Because at the end of the day, it is a business. Money does make the world go round, and we need to make those sales. Otherwise, your business will become a statistic. Not just do you need the mindset and the marketing, the sales, but when we're starting to get your business to be built and it's now time for it to grow to the next level, so maybe you're getting leads and you've got your sales in there, now we're looking at growing your business, and you need a strategy. I think everyone needs a strategy right from the get-go, and continually through year after year, you need to keep coming back to your strategy and be able to make sure you've got your checkpoints to assess whether you're still online and still congruent with the end goal. You know, what is the goal in 10, 20 years with your business? Are you still aligned with that passion, with that goal that you're trying to go for, and that strategy? Once you've got a good strategy, then we're talking about, you know, how to be a leader, and also how to leverage. Because if you want to build a business, like I haven't been able to build 7 businesses on my own at all. I've had to have some great leadership qualities, some ability to communicate my message, and also an ability to leverage in my time and my know-how with other people. I need to be able to grow teams around me to allow me to grow each and every single business. Otherwise, I would have probably just been stuck at one. So leadership is a huge trait that you as a person need, and also your team as well. So leadership within your whole organization as well, whether you're a one-man or woman band or you have multiple people within your business. And then the last thing that I like to focus on with my students who attend my events, and what I would like to share with you too as well, is I think probably a missed strategy early on, and you get it a little bit later on when you've built your business, you've grown your business. And what I'm talking about is legacy. You know, like, why do you do what you do, and what is it for? You know, initially, you know, you when you start a business, and I know I was very similar as well. I just want to make lots of money, but that gets boring. Making money gets boring, believe it or not. And growing businesses, it's great and it's fun. It gets boring, but what you need is that, you know, not just that passion of your business, but you need to know the why, and what are you doing this for? Is it for you personally? Is it for your family? Is it for you know, are you giving back to charity? You know, like, how are people going to remember you when you're gone? What are people going to say to you or about you when you've left the world? Like, what will they say about you? And leaving a legacy, to me, is so much more important now than it was when I first started in business. And leaving a legacy now is almost what's driving me even more in my businesses. So if we could teach and preach and help people with their legacy early on, it'll be a great driving force to the success of your business, because not only you're driving with passion, but you're also driving with purpose. But I guess what you're thinking is, you know, oh, great, Phil, you've grown up some great strategies here. You know, there's 6 areas that we need to focus on, but how do we do it? What do we do? So I've created programs, and I will be sharing with you some of it at the events as well. So to help you with your mindset, I have a 6-step strategy that you can either define or redefine your mindset and get the champion, the warrior mindset. To help you with your marketing, I've created the complete marketing machine, which is both online and offline marketing, because at the end of the day, you need to be able to do both. To help people with their sales, I've created a program called the Authentic Sales Solution, and this is exactly what the label on the tin says. I think sales is different now, and you need to be very authentic, you need to be congruent, and you need to not want them be money driven, but results driven, like solution driven. If you want someone to buy your product or service, you have to truly, 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 truly believe in that this product or service is going to transform their life. It's going to better their life. It's going to improve their life. And it's not just a sale. It's not just a transaction, so to speak. So sales has changed. Marketing has changed. It's something that you have to keep up with the times, and it's so important. To help people with their strategy, I've got the business growth blueprint, and this really has grown my business, all my businesses. utilizing this strategy. It's another 6-step strategy, and you use these techniques again to not only to define but also to redefine. I think what I've found most often than not, when I come in and help corporates or organizations or even solo entrepreneurs, is that they get so tied into the business and working on the business, they never get a chance to step out and work on the important parts of innovating and growing the business. Because they don't, one, have a strategy involved, but also they don't block enough time out and they don't put an importance of that growth or that innovation strategy. So it's very, very important. If you want to grow your business, you need to set some time and you need a strategy. To help people with their leadership, we've got the influencer inducer, and to help people with their legacy, I've got the life impact creator. As I said today, when I'm talking about taking people from where they are currently, so wherever you are personally in your position, whether you're a startup, whether you've got an existing business, whether you're a corporate and you're working within someone else's business, wherever you may, whether you've got a lot of money, a little bit of money, or no money, you are, and when talking about my model here, if you're on the side of you haven't really built a business, it's not very successful, you're not growing it, I call that on the side of effect. And you'll generally stay on the side of effect because you believe that everything is happening to you. Like, the reason you are where you are right now in your life is basically everyone else's fault. It's your parents' fault. It's where you live. It's the economy. It's to blame everything. Like, you believe everything happens to you. Now, when you work through my model and you start taking charge of your life and you start overcoming the challenges with your mindset, you start taking ownership of your marketing and sales, well, you move through the scale of, you know what, things are starting to happen by me. I'm starting to take action. And I realize that if I want to go from where I am to where I want to be, how to do this is me. So things happen by me. You go from things happening to you, mindset of effect, and then of it to by me, which is the mindset of cause. Like, I am taking charge. I'm the cause of where I am, and I'm now going to take charge of my business. And then as you go through the growth side, you then start leveraging, as we spoke about. You work through others. This is the 80-20 rule, people. This is the only way you're going to grow a business. If you understand the 80-20, it's been spoken about probably in previous webinars, and it's such a pivotal moment in the growth of my business, is the moment that I stepped back and allowed my team and leveraged my team to do 80% of the business, so I could do 20% that really mattered. I hope this is all making sense to you, and please, if you have a lot of questions, we'll get them all answered towards the end. There's a lot of content here, I know, and I want to make sure that we stay on time. But let's go into some strategies. Let's go in not just the what, but let's go into the how. So the complete marketing machine, and what we're talking about here today is we're talking about how to get more leads. How to get more leads. So how we're going to get more leads? Well, there are 2 ways. There is the old way and there is the new way. There's the old way and the new way. There's the old way that we used to market. There's the old way we used to do business. And then there's the new way. But what is that? I call it old school and new school. Now, when we're talking about getting leads, we're talking about, maybe a salesperson or yourself or anyone going out there or working on the strategy on how we're going to get more people buying your product or service. The old school way is sort of like working on your friends and family. It's a warm list. Anyone within a 3-foot radius you're going to try and sell to. You're going to networking events, prospecting complete strangers, buying leads and cold calling. I mean, there's many other things that's got to do with the old school, but these are some common old school techniques. Whereas the new school techniques, we're talking about attraction marketing and captured pages and list building, internet marketing, webs, 2.0 and probably 3.0, automated sales funnels. And the whole thing about now, and what I think is important, is that they don't sell, really. We're not selling. It's a different mindset. So the question is, what is better? Is old school sales and marketing techniques better than new school? Or is new school better than old school? Well, my answer, what should we focus on? Is both. You need to be focusing on both. At the end of the day, it takes on average 16 to 20 times for somebody to see your brand before they take or make a buying decision. Let me just repeat that just in case I spoke a little bit fast. It takes on average 16 to 20 times for somebody to see your brand before they take action and possibly take you up on the offer of becoming a client of your product or your service. So the question is, how are you being seen? How are you getting your message? How are you getting your brand out there? You know, we're talking about brand awareness, talking about old school and new school. So I'm going to give you 3 old school techniques that still work. And these are working within my businesses month after month. And that's the reason why we do them. You know, what should we focus on, new school, old school? Both. I still believe that there are many tactics and strategies that the old school marketing ways are still relevant today. So here's 3 techniques that still work for me and get amazing results. What I'm talking about is referrals. We all need referrals within our business, and we all need a referral strategy, one that's built into our business, and you know, it can change, but we want people referring customers to us all the time. And some statistics here is, you know, it takes people are 4 times more likely to buy when referred by a friend. And if you think about that, you know, it's easier to keep an existing client than to get a new one. Or what's even easier, rather than marketing to new clients, is to be able to ask your existing to refer your product or service. The lifetime value for a new referral customer is 16% higher than a non-referral. That's pretty cool. So it means that your referrals that you do have are going to stay longer. And lastly, 83% of consumers are willing to refer after a positive experience, yet they only 29% actually do. So if that statistic is still current, which it is because it's end of 2016 I got these statistics from, is that there is a lot of opportunity for you to get out there and refer your product and service, or to get other people to refer your product or service, because you're not taking advantage of it. Because we know we should do it, but we probably don't do it. Because we get busy, and that's why you've got to have these techniques need to be inbuilt and impregnated into your business so they don't move away, they don't leave. So referrals, as an old school technique and a new technique, you can combine. If you want to innovate your referral process and be a cut above everyone else, that's what I suggest you do. Technique number 2 that works time and time again is business to business. Business to business, and what I'm talking about here is with your product or service, whatever it may be, and we're all different, but if you could find another business, an existing business that is congruent and, you know, is sort of matching your view on the world and your view on business, you know, it wants to be a win-win. The business-to-business relationship needs to be a win-win, because if one feels like they're getting less of a deal, or one's getting more of a deal, it's not going to be a good business-to-business relationship. So here's a technique that I used in one of my businesses as well. And this is why I was like, you know, I don't just want to give you the why, I want to give you a how, like a strategy that I know has worked for me. And look, this may work better for a service-based business than a product business, but you'll get the idea. And the idea is, you know, when you see a strategy or a technique that works for someone, your job is not to disqualify it straight away. Your job is to go, how would that work within my business? Will it work to make? And let's just give it a go. So I've got the Willy Wonka golden ticket. Now, have you ever seen Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, the Willy Wonka golden ticket? You'll know what I'm talking about. If you don't, then go watch the movie. You'll understand. But the gist of it is that, you know, these kids get there's only a few Willy Wonka tickets. They're the most precious things in the world. And, you know, the whole world is going in hysteria to get these Wonka tickets. So what we decided to do in one of my businesses is create 10, only 10, well, I lie, I'm sorry, batches of 10. So we probably had about 50 batches of 10. And I made the most amazing, real thick card, gold embossed, Willy Wonka style golden tickets. And it was a VIP, it was for very important people. These tickets were amazing. Like, when you looked at them, you thought this ticket itself's got to be worth $500. Now, the value that was behind one of those tickets was probably about $1,000 worth of my services. And, you know, but if I kept the person, let me just go to the strategy, but if I kept the person, the value of that probably would have been about $5,000 to $10,000. So yes, I was going to be giving away about $1,000 plus the printing of these beautiful tickets, these golden tickets. But what the idea was is that I would then go out to some businesses that were like-minded, that believed in what I was doing, and I gave them to their owner. Now, I didn't just say, hey, I want to do a business technique or relationship, and I want to give you some information on how we can build a business, etc., etc. I said, look, I'm willing to give you 10 of these tickets. Now, these 10 tickets are valued at $1,000 each, which is $10,000. And what I would really like you to do, I know you've got lots of clients, you've probably got hundreds of clients, but I just only really want you to pick 10 of your most best, your most valuable clients. Only 10, because I've only got 10 to give away for your business. Now, I want you to give these to your 10 best clients. Now, what I would like you to do is I don't want you to tell anyone that I gave them to you for free. I want you to position it in a way that you went out and bought these each, and that you were going to give these to your most valuable clients. And you are one of my valuable clients, so you were getting one. The value on that ticket to the person getting it is probably way more than $1,000. I mean, the monetary value is $1,000, but the fact that the business owner gave it to them, that they chose just 10 and they were one of the 10, the value of that and the relationship, man, that's unbeatable. And then what happens is the person who gets 10 of these tickets, they're like, they're going to redeem that. It's $1,000 worth of services. There's much more better likelihood of them redeeming that ticket and coming into your business as well. So business to business, there are so many ways to do it. And that was just one strategy that I wanted to give you. As I said, and I'm going to reiterate this, I don't want this to be a webinar where I tell you what I've done before, what I do. I want to tell you exactly how I've done some things. And then when you come to the event, I'm going to share with you even more techniques, some techniques that have seen me 10x my business, and you could probably get the same results as well. So let's go for the last old school technique that still works, which is JVs. It's so important that you get joint ventures, like partnering with people to help you build your brand and build your awareness, build your client list, build your leads, is another fantastic technique. Now, let me just ask you, if you were able to get maybe, let's make it real easy, an extra 2 referrals a month, if you're able to work with business to business, and if you did the strategy that I showed you there, did business to business, you gave out 10 of those to 50 different businesses, and they trickled in over the year as well, and then you did some JVs, do you think that would make a difference in your business? Well, the answer is yes. And if you can match these 3 old school techniques with these 3 new school techniques that I'll be showing you as well, then you're going to dominate your area. You're going to dominate in your niche. New school techniques, what have we got? Well, these ones here are all very, very modern techniques. Now, if you are not social media or marketing savvy, then I guess what I'm going to get at here is that you have to learn to do that. Because the way that we market today in the new school arena has changed dramatically. So one of the techniques that I'm doing a lot of lately is mobile video. Mobile video. I would say that if you looked at the population, all you would have to do was Google the statistics, but almost everybody has a mobile device of some description. And as time goes on, we will all have a smartphone as well. But most people have some pretty snazzy phones these days. And I would say that, especially in Australia and America and UK, where I do a lot of speaking, that somebody's mobile is usually within arm's reach 4 hours a day, meaning that it actually goes on the bedside table when they go to sleep. Now, if that there is so close to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days of the year, there is a place where you can then market. You can take advantage of that. And why I say mobile video, because mobile and video, especially video marketing, is huge right now. Very big, and you need to take advantage of video marketing. Why do you need to take advantage of video marketing? Because people are going to want to buy, know, like, and trust. Let me repeat that. People are going to buy more and more and even higher price ticket items only off people they know, like, and trust. It's not like you would get an ad and you'd go down to the business and you'd buy something off a complete stranger. When somebody is in your ecosystem and you have seen them on mobile and on video or, or anything, and you've heard of them, they're being positioned as an expert. And then what happens is when you're ready to buy something, well, guess what? They are front of mind. So mobile video right now, if you're not taking advantage of it, and maybe you are and maybe not doing it right, it's something that you must do as of today. If you want to build a business in the world we live in right now, you need to do, yes, those 3 old school techniques, but you need to take advantage of this number 1 here as well, and the other 2 I'm about to show you. So some statistics on mobile video. We're talking about millennials here, and millennials, well, eventually there's going to be, well, man, these guys are going to take over the world, and what we're talking about with millennials is that if they're doing it, guess what? All those people are going to be using it as well. Old school generation, they're all going to be using it as well. So nearly half of the millennials only watch videos on their mobile devices. I just urge you, between now and maybe the next 7 or 5 days, is just watch people. Look at people. Where is their attention? I guarantee you're going to see it is head down, buried in their phone or their computer or their tablet. Millennials are 3 times more likely than baby boomers to watch a video on their mobile device. So, we've got to start marketing where people's attention is, and the attention is on mobile, and the attention is on video. People will scroll past text. People are even starting to scroll past images, and they're only taking notice of videos. Now, not all videos. There's a certain strategy behind videos, which I'll show you at the event. Another statistic here, and it's just interesting to show you that, video ad viewability across the web, 83% of it is on the mobile. 83%. 53% on desktop, and even a ton on the tablet. So there's some interesting stats there. Why I'm sharing this with you is because it's so important. What's been able to build my businesses more recently, in the most recent years, and what's building my 7th business and skyrocketing it is video marketing, and on social media and on Facebook specifically. So let's take a look at technique number 2. Technique number 2. So technique number 2 is live streaming. Live streaming. Live streaming is a fantastic way to, again, build that know, like, and trust with your future clients. Live streaming is a way that you can then also be interactive. So your potential clients can actually ask you questions. They can see you live where you're at. They can see your journey. They can be involved. And let me tell you this right now. If you're thinking, no, mobile video and live streaming, that wouldn't work for my business because I sell a product, or because I'm an accountant, or whatever it may be, it's a complete lie. You just have to figure out the recipe and how it works for your business and take advantage of it and just do it. Remember, Henry Ford's his famous quote, if you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always got. If you are unhappy with the results you're getting and you're not doing this stuff, then start doing it. It's that simple. Live streaming. And number 3 is influencer marketing. To take advantage of people who have huge followings, it's almost like JVs with the old school. So the old school marketing way, JVs, is you would really want to take advantage of someone who has a massive list. A huge list of people, a huge network of people that you could take advantage of. It's almost the same as influencer market. You want to get an influencer, someone who is influencing the masses, and you want to be able to place your product or your service or get them to mention it and try and get their followers to then follow you. We want to try and get people into our ecosystem. We want people into our ecosystem. And we want to be able to take them from just watching our videos, just interacting on live, just taking notice of our messages or influencer marketing, and going into our funnel and actually buying our core product and service. So I'm guaranteeing you, let me just tell you this right now, the people that I work with, if they're not doing these 3 old school and these 3 new school techniques, I am very upset, and I'm very disappointed that they're not coming up with the times. If you're listening to this webinar and going, yeah, I'm doing that, but not this, then do that one thing. Start get good at it. If you are not doing any of them, well, you need to start investing in time on how to work out these techniques. If you don't know how, come to the event, Super Achievers Summit, and you're going to learn a ton of great techniques on how you're going to transform your business. Not just from me, but from the amazing speakers as well. All right, my last strategy, I really wanted to share with you the one strategy that took one of my companies from surviving to a multi-million-dollar enterprise. You know, I think that it was really just one strategy that made a difference, but it was. And the strategy that I'm talking about is cracking the success code. Now, the success code is quite a tricky one to crack. And it's just down there. It's all those muddled up letters. Now, if you can crack that code, I guarantee you're going to have a massive, massive influx of new clients, and you're going to have a massive influx of new leads, new followers, and you know people are just going to be knocking down on your door because you've cracked the code. I guess you're wondering, and I can't get in the feedback, but I guess you're wondering, what is this code? You might say, yeah, Phil, tell me this code. Well, here it is. You have to find out what they want, go get it, and give it to them. If you want to be successful in business, stop just doing what you think is right and start listening to the market. Find out what it is that your clients want, whether it is something to do with a product, whether it's something to do with a service. If it's not your product, not your service, maybe it's a different version of your product, maybe it's an add-on to your service, whatever. But find out what your potential clients want, and it's as simple as go getting it and giving it to them. I guarantee you, if you can just focus on this one strategy, it would revolutionize your business and the way that you go about it. You know, I shot a video not long ago, and it was all about stop being everything to everyone and just be something to someone. And if you can just listen to your clients and listen to your market, then that's going to be a massive game changer for you. So get out into the environment, get out into your market, and start listening. Just start listening. Well, guys, I'd just like to say a massive thank you for joining me today. I'm going to get back on the video here. Fantastic. Can you see me and hear me loud and clear? I've wrapped up with my content. It was amazing to give some great advice and strategies today to everyone out there. I hope there was some great strategies that you can implement into your life, and I'm really looking forward to some questions if we have some.
Oh yeah, Phil, we have a couple of questions, and yes, of course, this is like awesome, and I made a lot of notes, and you pretty much covered everything. And there were a few questions that you answered at the end. So anyways, I'll go through the questions, and there's one question from Akshay, and he's asking, can you throw some light upon measuring success through digital marketing in B2B aspect?
Let me just clarify. So measuring success through the digital marketing environment, yes?
Okay, so he wanted to know, like, you know, if there is any one tip that you can give for measuring success through digital marketing.
Look, well, there are many ways now. There are many ways that you can measure your success with your marketing online. You know, I mean, if you're doing Facebook marketing, there are so many amazing ways to do pixel and targeted retargeting marketing. So you can attach a pixel to a landing page, a conversion pixel, and you can see how much your digital, I guess, your marketing is working from ad to landing page to converting to a client, and see where their drop off is there. In what I was sort of preaching about with the new age marketing, let me just talk about that in particular, because as far as I'm concerned, in that initial phase of startup or new business, relaunching, redefining, it's all about building a following and building a tribe. And if you really just want to, I guess, get a really good snapshot into how that you would, I guess, figure out if it's working for you in that stage, is if you are getting tons of people liking and sharing and commenting and being active. That's one thing. So you could have 1 million followers and 1 million people, but maybe only 100 engaged. You know, so it's not just about the numbers, it's how engaged are your followers, how engaged is your tribe. And for me, for what I do in my businesses, my service-based businesses, my product, and my latest one. For me personally, it's all about building a huge engaged tribe of people that are engaging with me at a high level, and then eventually taking them down into my funnel into becoming, coming to my events or buying my products and services, online course and seeing me at events, etc. So for me personally, it's the engagement that you have with the followers that you have, but specifically and in more tech terms, when we're talking about Facebook marketing, and that's what I do a lot of, there's the conversion pixel, and then you can retarget and stuff like that.
Okay, that's wonderful. So I hope Akshay got some more points because I added a question at the end. So here's one more person, Pawan. He says, I had attended one of your events in Bangalore Entrepreneur Cafe, and I look forward to seeing you again. That's what he says. So
fantastic. I can't wait. I was in Bangalore in December last year, and I met some amazing people. Really going to Bangalore then was for me to go and meet the people and sort of see where, I guess, where they were at. I'm talking about, like, at the start of my webinar here, is like, where are people at financially, mentally, emotionally, in their business, and what do they need to get them to the other side? And that's what my travel to India was in December. And now I'm coming back in February with Ram and some amazing speakers, and we're just going to deliver some amazing value. We're not just going to tell you what to do, we're going to tell you how to do it. And I can speak on behalf of the speakers. We're really excited to come over and share our expertise and knowledge with so many people. And we'd really love to hang out with you personally and meet you face to face.
Okay, so here's one more question from Arjun, and he says, what is your number one tip for startups today? Because he says, like, some people say that you have to focus on getting funding, and sometimes the product is not yet ready. So he's like confused as to what is it that they have to focus on right now. Is it funding or developing a perfect product?
Well, okay, so there's two elements to this, I believe. Now, you can try and, if you don't have the perfect product or a product that's ready for an investor to come in, then you're not going to be getting good investors. And in saying that, I don't personally think that going down the investor route, it should be always the first option. What I personally would do, if I was in a startup, which I am as well right now, I've started 7 businesses, but I'm currently starting another one here. And you're still defining and redefining what it is that you're starting up, whether it's a product or a service, it doesn't matter. You're still defining what that is. What I would suggest you do is take it to the market and on social media. Is like, start positioning yourself and giving great content on Facebook, on videos, on YouTube, or whatever it may be, and just start talking about what you're doing. Show how passionate you are about what you're creating. And by adding value, by educating people about what you're doing, you're going to get people ask questions. And the questions could be fantastic questions that help you maybe switch and change your product or service around ever so slightly. And as time goes on, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, look, it doesn't matter how long it takes. That what matters is, are you doing something that you love? So for me personally, in a short answer, I would start getting your message out there and educating people about your product or service, and start listening to the market. Then take the advice from the market, and then once you've got, 1, your product that you think is good enough, 2, proof that the market wants it, then if you can't start up yourself, then take that to the investor, and they're going to be more inclined to invest in your product and service and help you get a kickstart.
Okay, that's awesome. So here's one more question from Akshay again, and he's asking, as you have talked about the engaging followers for my earlier question, what are some suggestions to build a good follower base, either on social media or for the blog on website?
Fantastic. Yeah. So the 3 platforms that are working best right now, number 1 is definitely Facebook. Facebook is doing so well. Now, one is you've got to get your organic traffic out there, which means that when you post something, people that you know who are in your ecosystem are liking, commenting, and sharing it. And then there's the getting that out to the people who don't know who you are. So there's the strategies behind boosting and doing paid ads and stuff like that. You can do it in a way that is very cost effective and you're getting great feedback. Number 2 is using Instagram, and hashtagging is a great way to start building your followers. Also Twitter is quite big. I'm not too sure if India follows the same sort of pattern as the US and Australia and the UK, but I'm pretty sure we're pretty much up there with similar platforms. LinkedIn is pretty big as well, a bit more of a professional platform. But at the end of the day, if you want to build your following, you've got to, one, be active in your own platforms. Two, be active in other people's platforms. And you need to be able to be giving your advice and your help and your expertise to other people. And the more value you can add to other people's lives and other people's businesses, the more that they're going to look to you as an expert or someone who's willing to help them. And then that's how you're going to build more followers. That's how you're going to build more engagement. That's how you're going to build more clientele who are going to be interested in what you're doing.
Okay, that's awesome. So, do we have one more question? Yes, we have one more question, and it's from Arjun, and he says, considering that I am a startup and still my product is, in the stage where it's getting ready, what is your number one tip for me today that I have to follow?
I guess what I've seen and what I'm experiencing, especially in the startup arena, both in India, and not everyone's the same. I'm not going to paint everyone with the same brush, but a lot of what stops people in the startup phase is trying to wait for it to be perfect, and the fear of failure, the fear of success, the fear of it not being good enough, the fear of it's just a fear. It's the limiting beliefs that they can't push through, and if you can get over that barrier, if it doesn't have to be perfect, like don't look for perfection. Be passionate, not perfect. Look for the 80-20. Like don't try and get it to be 100%. It's okay to be 80%. You can still work at it. But for me, and what I've seen a lot in the startup phase is a lot of people say, I'm in a startup, I've got a product, I've got a service that I'm about to start, but I don't know what to do. Well, there's a lot of strategies. There's a lot of people out there who are willing to help. There's a lot of people who've done it before. What stops most people, I'm not going to paint everyone, but most people starting up is themselves. There's something internally that stops them taking that leap of faith and just taking your product to market. And what I mean by product to market was exactly what I was talking before. Like if you had an app idea and it was like an amazing app idea, what's worse? Holding your private and your app idea close to your chest and never telling anyone about it until it's perfect. And guess what? Nothing's ever perfect and you never launch it. Or taking it to market, your friends, your families, your followers, and you don't have to give them your whole app idea, but start educating people about that and getting feedback. You will find that by getting things to the market, even at a lower scale, it's going to be a release and it's going to be a stepping stone to the bigger launch. So launch little, launch often, and you will launch bigger platform later on.
That's awesome. So yeah, I think we are done with the questions. Yeah, Akshay is just thanking you for all the answers that you gave, and he says great webinar and support from Ramanand. That's what he says. Okay, so we are at we are at the end of the webinar, and thank you so much, Phil, for joining, and have a good day. And thanks, listeners, for
the Super Achiever Summit.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.